Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Voices of Variety, and today's guest is Drew Cameron, the stand-up chameleon. Or is it Del Boy, or Uncle Albert, Ali G, Mr. Bean, Ozzy Osbourne, Joe Pasquale, Alan Carr? Who knows who I'll be talking to? Amongst all these famous voices, we get to hear how Drew Cameron became these people and why he loves it so much, as well as hearing of his passion for wildlife. And I don't mean nudist beaches and streaking. I mean his love for the animals who have the right to live there in peace. We talk about Eggheads, the TV game show on BBC, Queen's Brian May, and Drew orders Phil Collins to not play the piano. Yet, he still tried to teach me guitar in his shed. With some hedgehogs. From Only Fools and Three Courses, a dinner cabaret now sweeping the UK, to Britain's Got Talent and his love for cardboard cutouts, Drew Cameron entertains us over the next 45 minutes or so on Eyes and Teeth, Voices of Variety, Season 9. Welcome, Drew Cameron.
Hello, is this Drew?
I can never call Drew Cameron without first speaking to Drew Cameron before I get through to the Queen. Why is that?
No, that's true. You have to go through the Queen first of all.
I have to go through the Queen to get to Drew Cameron. That's how important you are.
That's right. But, you know, she's trying to find me now, as you know.
Drew Cameron, welcome to Eyes and Teeth. How are you?
Yeah, still the perfect man, sir. Pushing through, and things are getting there. Probably the same as you, really.
Yeah, definitely. When you say pushing through, it always reminds me of the new Wurzel Gummidge with Mackenzie Crook. And my daughters have re-watched over and over one particular sketch when Wurzel and his little friends go into a house for tea. And he realised, is someone guffed? Have you pushed air through poo? And literally, he talks about someone farting at the dinner table. And when you said pushing through, I just thought of that scene. It's very funny. Have you seen the new Wurzel?
No, I haven't.
Actually, we'll get on to talking about Wurzel Gummidge soon, because you played him once in a summer season. Do you remember that? We were doing Wizard of Oz, and I said, Drew, you need to do the Scarecrow, but you need to be Wurzel Gummidge. And you did. You done it, and it was wonderful.
You know, I'm trying to remember doing Wurzel Gummidge on that show. It's weird, isn't it?
Don't worry, I've got the video. Drew Cameron. Now, I want to make a good impression on you as an interviewer because we chat quite regularly. And so how do I separate the matey chat from the interviewer? Here goes, right? Drew Cameron, we first worked together in 2010. So I've known you just over 10 years. What the hell did you get up to in the first 70 years before we met? So I'm saying, hello, Drew Cameron, welcome to the show.
And hello, sir. Great to be on here. Hello, it's lovely to be something like that. That's not good.
That sounds like you were constipated, but you were actually doing Boris Johnson then. Do you want me to...
Actually, what it was, we started out as Prince Charles, and then I realised I went into Boris, and I thought, I don't know what I'm doing now.
Well, do you know what? Both of those gents are in trouble at the moment, aren't they? One for making a few mistakes in the past 12 months, and another one for not phoning his son. Or did you see the interview the other day?
I did see it, yes.
What did you think, and are you working on any new impressions?
Well, I'm doing a Meghan impression. No, that's not what I'm going for.
So I want to know about you. I want to know about Drew. So where did it all start for you, Drew? And I believe it kicked off with one word, and that was dance. Is that right? Dance. Were you a young Billy Elliot?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Shall I start? This is a story to tell.
Yeah, I really want to know because you did end up running a dance school. So I really want to know how it started for you. And was it comedy first?
Yeah, it was. And I was actually given more information. I don't know how many years ago, but where I live, I went to my local church, and it was a Christmas sort of thing going on, then selling a little market thing going on in the church hall. And a woman came over to me, and she said, I used to be your school nurse when you were at primary school.
Oh.
And so it was obviously quite a long time ago. And I went, oh, yeah. And she told me that I was doing impressions at primary school, and I didn't even know it.
Really?
At all. So I was about, I don't know, 6. So it's always been me. And of course now it's called doing impressions. Then it was being called a cheeky little bugger in class.
So you were were you mimicking the teachers?
Yeah, a teacher would come up to me apparently and sort of speak to me or tell me off. And when they walked away, I would do an impression of them. That's what she said.
Wow.
And I did, obviously I can't remember. The only thing I do remember is when I got to junior school, that was my first time I did a celebrity from the television.
Right.
And it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was advertising some chocolate, and he said, oh look, the sponge, Cadbury's mini sponges, something like that it was. And that's the first one I did.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing to hear that, because then when I was at junior school and I did my first celebrity impression, as I say, I can't remember the comedian's name now, and that would have been in the late 60s. Yeah, I know. You thought I was 40 years of age, but I'm not. I'm a bit older. And then what happened was, when it was 1968 time, there was Opportunity Knocks on, and if people don't know that, that was the first BGT type of program with Huey Green, and I applied, and I think I was 12 at that time.
Wow.
Or 13.
Were you confident then? Were you confident back then at 12? Because I was not confident at all.
I would say, but what I'm so pleased with in my life is there are 4 people that I owe everything to, and to my parents. Then when I was at school, junior school, there was Mrs. Mayol, and she was the wife of someone quite famous on the television as an actor, and she inspired me and helped me to do what I was doing. And then it was my wife after that. And so if I didn't have those people, I don't think I would have been able to achieve it. And so when I applied, it might have helped my parents doing it. And in 1969, I actually won Opportunity Knocks on the clapometer when at that time.
Wow!
When
in the studio,
when you performed at the end of the show, there's a clapometer,
yes.
And the people that got the biggest clap were the winners, and that was me. And I was on this at the same time as Pixie Witch, the pop group, and they won on the votes apparently.
Okay, do you remember who the judges were?
The judges of the clapometer
of Opportunity Knocks.
Well, there were no judges as such. It was the audience for the clapometer, and then at that time, the general public voted, and the following week, then they announced the winner.
Okay, right.
There wasn't those kind of judges. It wasn't a show for judges in those days.
No, I thought normally there's a panel or something, and they just give you a couple of tips. Oh, you didn't have that, right? You really did do this decades ago, didn't you? Because it changed over the years, I guess.
Yeah, it did, and unfortunately, ITV have wiped those tapes, so I don't have a copy of it. And of course, in those days, back in the old days, we didn't have, mobile phones or things to record. We didn't even think about it.
No, is that a fact? Do you know that they're wiped? They're just not out there, or that you've been told that they're gone?
They are wiped, and I even know that because. Blimey, again, another famous comedian who's passed away now. He actually gathered a lot of old tapes together.
Bob Monkhouse. Is it Bob Monkhouse?
Bob Monkhouse, I think it's that, yeah. And I went onto his estate. They didn't have it. And I've been on to another person who gets all these old things, and he said they have been wiped. The ITV did wipe the ones that I was just before the 70s.
Oh.
It is still gone. And the only way of maybe getting it is if a individual had somehow got a copy.
Yeah, they recorded. You find that.
Pixie Witch.
Yeah, because they turn up, didn't they, later?
But I've contacted them from Pixie Witch, and they haven't got any. So somebody must have somewhere.
Well, we'll have to put that out, won't we? Have to put it on all over Facebook and say, is there a copy of this? Do you remember the month that it was in the late 70s?
Yes, I know the actual date. I've got the written work, and it's October 1969. Was it October? Yeah, I think it was.
Wow.
It was the end of 1969.
Okay, well, we'll try and put that out there. We need a copy of that. I'd love to see it. I mean, you were 12 years old. Bless you. That was. Have you got any other early footage of that on, like?
I think when I did it, I was 13. Yeah.
Wow. Have you got any old tapes, like, on Super 8 or anything, or on of you when you were starting out as a teenager?
I've only got photographs.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Isn't that a shame?
Because we didn't have. No one thought about videoing. We didn't have it. Really?
You don't think about it at the time, do you? And now we're all nostalgic, and looking back, it's like, oh, it would be nice to see that again. And, well, do you know what? It might be out there, because some people did sit there and record things. They had video cameras in the 60s and 70s, and they recorded the telly because it was a new phenomenon. Ice and teeth. You said you had 4 people that inspired you, and I class your parents as one person, so that's 3. So really, you could probably add me to the 4th. I'm always coming 4th, but I could be the 4th one, couldn't I?
My friend, Maureen, she's really helped me lately in building up the show Phony Fools and Horses, which I wouldn't have done without her.
Yeah, so if you had a 5th one, if there was a 5th, then... Yeah?
Yeah, and then there's you.
Thanks. So, okay,
well,
right.
You got me on Eggheads, and then I showed that I was more intelligent than Judith, didn't I?
Yes, you do. We'll get onto that. I want to go back again now, because your stories about getting to where we are. So you've done Opportunity Knocks. What impressions were you doing at that stage? Do you remember all the ones you were doing off the television? Because I know you done a young Michael Caine, didn't you?
I don't think I was doing it at that time.
Oh, were you not?
But I've got pictures of me, and I was doing, it's Freddie Parrot Face. Stick up to here. You know him.
Freddie Parrot Face?
Freddie Parrot Face Davis.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
brilliant.
Doing him.
Yeah.
I was doing Dudley Moore.
Wow.
And I remember I was doing Tiptoe Through the Tulips, Through the Tulips, can't remember his name now. He was, and another famous singer.
Max Bygraves.
And then the man going, just talking like that. Anyway, I was doing all those local things at the time. Dudley Moore, and then started doing. And then, if I sort of carry on from then, so after I did that, then I went to as a family, went to a holiday park in the summer, and you obviously used to do the talent contest. And while I was there, a woman came up to me and my parents and said that she worked in the Barbara Speake Stage School in London, and she thought that I would be really good to go there. And so this is another thing. My parents, how could they do that? I mean, my parents didn't have a lot of money, and they said, yes, I could go. So I left my senior school when I was 15, and went to London. And my parents let me do that and stay up there. And what I did was I was there just over a year at Barbara Speake Stage School, and I shared a flat with Phil Collins, and best mates with Jack Wilde at the time.
Jack Wilde was he was Artful Dodger, wasn't he? In
Artful Dodger, yeah.
Oliver,
and he's my daughter's, was my daughter's godfather. And going up there, that was a massive change in my life. My parents, because it's so easy, I've got to go, no, come on, you stay at school, you do what you got to do. No, and because of that, I met my wife up there, who was a massive for me as well. And I remember she was away filming for months while I was there, and then she came back to the school, and I remember we were doing a show on the stage, and I was waiting behind the curtains, and she was acting as the stage manager, and I got talking, and I said, can you give me a good luck kiss? So she did, and that was the start of it.
A little bit forward. That was Sheila, was it?
That was Sheila, yeah.
Yeah, bless.
Yeah, so I did that, and then when I left, I didn't know what to do. Came back home, and I started as a TV engineer apprentice, and then I became a TV engineer, and I was doing it for about 2 years. Wow. And she came down, and we married when I was 18, And she said she'd been performing since the age of 3, done so many films. She was a dancer on Top of the Pops and all kinds of different stuff. And she'd had enough by then. As a 20-year-old, she'd not done it. She wanted to teach. So we got a place, a local church hall, and one day a week she would start teaching and I would take the money. And then eventually I said, look, why don't I help? I'll do some of the drama classes. Okay. And then later I said, okay, I'll help do the tap, because at stage school I learned to dance. And then I built up and said, I'll help you do the ballet. And then I took my exams. I'm now a fellow of the International Dancers Association. And we then were doing every night of the week. And then our daughter, Lisa, she then went to Barbara Speake's stage school for a while.
Oh, that's lovely.
She was massively into a performance.
Yeah.
And then we thought, hold on a minute, why don't we start up our own stage school? And for Lisa, so she doesn't go up there. So we started up our own private, independent, academic performing arts school in Brighton. And that was massively successful. I'm even talking to the ex-pupils now, and they're still saying that was the best days of their life.
Do you know what? One of our mutual friends, Katie Costello, went there, didn't she? And
Yes,
Katie's
that's right.
so talented.
She's lovely, Katie.
Yes, she
Absolutely.
is. She's adorable.
Yeah.
And well, she's just a beautiful lady, isn't she? Inside out, she's lovely, Katie. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. I can tell you, I can go on for ages, but I was just thinking in my head when I joined the stage school, because I was the new boy, and my nanny said, oh, you got to be careful going to stage school, those boys, and I'm not quite sure what term she used, but she implied that they might be a little bit gay.
A little bit into you.
She was concerned about it, because, you know, in those days, ooh.
Yeah.
And I wasn't bothered. And of course, when I got there, they were typically boys that wanted to make the impression that they were not gay, and so a lot of them were like that, weren't they? Yeah. They were really over the top, some of them. And the other funny thing was, when we did ballet classes, the new boy, like me, I had to have a pink jock strap and black tights, and when you put them on, you could see the pink jock strap underneath. Of course, all the other boys that were there, they didn't do that. That was idiot. So I looked a right idiot when I started, because all the other boys were just, you know, were nowhere near like that, and I had my pink jock strap on.
Yeah, I bet your nan loved that, didn't she?
Well, she doesn't now, because she's in heaven listening.
Oh, yeah, she's still listening to you, mate. Keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So you've got the dance school and you're doing all that. And so when did the impressions come back then? When did you start? You were doing the dance school. It must have taken up a lot of your time with Sheila in Brighton. But were you doing the odd gig? Because you started to get into comedy clubs, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I was then a headmaster and teaching dance, and drama and art and bringing up children. And it was 24/7 all the time, and yet still loved it. It was, I have no idea how we got doing all of it, much like you, really. You're doing everything, aren't you? And so I did then, my impressions, you know, as it were, I'd stopped performing. And then as things went on, and as we came to the end of running the school, the senior girls, I thought I wanted to get back into it. And so how do you do it? You know, to building up an act is very difficult. And I had to start again learning impressions. And so what I did was we filmed a group called Class Act. So there were 4 dancers and me, and we would do songs and to fill up the time, and then I would do my comedy work bit. And so we built up that. We actually performed at Eastbourne Pier for a season.
Okay, yeah, Nina danced there actually. She said there like like in the late 90s when she was at school, she danced there. Well, when she was at school, so it would have been like 94, 95. And Sandy Powell used to do shows there, you know, the good old days. Yeah,
but we were there the late 90s, somewhere around there.
Yeah, because it closed down. By the time I moved here in 2000 in Eastbourne, the pier the Pier Theatre shut down, so that wasn't working anymore. Turned it into a nightclub.
Yeah, but it was a lovely place. Same, it's not there anymore, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, and so I slowly got back into it, and as I came into it during the late 90s, early 2020s, it was the new comedy, and I was at a certain age where I thought, I don't quite understand it. So I did jonglers, and I did other things like that, but I never got into it. I'm more of a variety performer.
Yes.
And it didn't really work for me, and it took me a while to find where I should be, and I've now found it, because I realise who I am. I'm not a comedian. I'm an impressionist, but I'm a character impressionist. And when I was at school, in the junior school, and this teacher was helping me, I remember so easily, I did an act called Three Hats. And it was literally going into the broom cupboard, putting a hat on, coming out and doing a character, going back in, putting another hat on, doing another character. And that's what I do. And now I'm doing Only Fools and Horses show. I'm just in character, and it's me being these big characters. That's always been me, and I realise that now.
Oh, that's amazing. But you actually stepped into doing a lot of MCing at the comedy clubs. Now, we'll come back to your impressionist work, but MCing is not an easy thing. But when I first started to see you work, you were comparing. And did you do that first, or were you doing sets, like you're doing warm-up sets or open spots? Or how did you get into the comedy club circuit? Because jonglers is not easy to get into as an act. So did you go straight in and said, I like to MC? And did you enjoy MCing?
No, I don't think so. I was trying to learn. I was trying to get in to things.
Okay.
So a lot of it was, as you know, open spots in clubs, and trying to get into the scene. And I was asked to go into jonglers, and it wasn't a happy experience. And I did go into a theatre, I can't remember what it's called now, in London, into a big contest where I did quite well.
Was it Hackney Empire?
Hackney Empire, that's it. Yes.
New Act of the Year, yeah.
Yes, that's right. That was it. And I can't actually, my brain's so stupid now, but there's a lady, a female comedian that's very well known on the TV now, and she won. I can't remember her name.
Nina Conti won it at some point. I know the ventriloquist. She won.
She did, obviously after me. Yeah, that's right. When I was doing the comedy clubs and I was pushing myself around London and all that, Nina was doing open spots with me as well. I remember that. Of course, there's quite a few people like that doing it.
Yeah, Roddy prop acts. No,
doing stand-up comedy, doing MCing. That really wasn't me.
You're just trying to find you. You're trying to find who Drew Cameron was at that time. But it's great going in there at the deep end and trying it out. But so how long were you doing it for, Drew? The MCing and the comedy clubs. Did you just dip your toe in for about a year, or did you do about 4 years? On and off?
It's been on and off. It was about 9 or 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And at one time, I opened up my own comedy club in Brighton.
Yeah.
The Albert's Pub, I think it's called, near the station.
Okay.
And it was called Sir Laugh A Lot. And that's where Patrick Monahan was doing a lot for me.
Oh, I love Patrick. Great guy.
Yeah. He's so clever. He's a typical MC. He's brilliant. In fact,
yes.
You had to put him on last because he went on and on and on. People loved him.
I'd done a gig with him at the Udderbelly about 6 years ago, and he'd done about 40 minutes before he brought me on, I think. but people love him. People just love him. It's like his show, and you don't mind that with Patrick. He's great, So he got me on eventually, and he's so complimentary. I've done a couple of gigs with Patrick. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't seen him for a long time now. So I was doing that. But the other thing what happened was somebody put my name forward, and it was in 1999 that happened, put me forward to Tony, who ran the Brother Lees.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were really, really big in the, 80s, 90s on television. And one of them the original people in it couldn't do it anymore. He got injured, and so I joined, and I was there for 2 years, which is not very long.
No.
But it was quite fascinating because it got boring.
Really?
It got boring in a way that every show, and I really mean this sincerely, every show that we did, we used to get standing ovations and massive applause, and it was so easy that I didn't have anything to work on. I actually got fed up with getting standing ovations too much.
Yeah, I did actually. I used to get fed up with them actually.
Yeah.
I know there was people walking out on me. I got that. Yeah, I'm getting it mixed up. No, do you know what? This accolade of standing ovations, Brother Lee's were massive. I heard about when I joined the cabaret circuit in the late 90s. Brother Lee's were there were posters up. There was 10x8 Demon repros all over the dressing rooms. Brother Lee's was massive, and so by the time you joined it and then carried on that success, but it wasn't for you. Again, did you not enjoy working as a team or?
It was for me, but what I said to my mate Tony, divisional member, I said, I'd like to do some solo work, so I've got ideas and I want to work on them. Could I do some of that as well? And it was a case of, no, you're either in the Brotherlies or you're not.
Oh, okay. Right.
And so that's what happened, because everything was, I didn't have to think. I just went on stage, we did our routines, and then I went off, and, I needed... You know what it's like. You're so creative. You want to do other things as well. And so I had to leave for that reason. It's quite ironic, leaving something so successful.
Yeah. Well, good for you. It's nice you had a couple of years at that. But what year was that, Drew, when you left them?
That was...
You said 99?
2001.
Okay. So I've now moved to Eastbourne by that time. So this is still another 9 years I'd like to fill up. In those 9 years, I heard about you within that time, and it must have been Drew Cameron. May have been linked with the Brotherlies, I'm not sure, but I heard of your name for at least 10 years when I moved to Eastbourne, and it was on the comedy circuit. Because by the time I got to work with you, I thought, I know that guy's name. I keep hearing about Drew Cameron. So what did you do when the millennium turned? You left the Brotherlies. And you did go solo.
I did, yes. I did start going solo. And of course, in those times, there was more work in holiday parks and social clubs.
Yeah.
And I was building up a profile then with agents. But also, my wife, Sheila, she was still in her productive stage. And she's one of these incredible, creative people that, to an extent, because we're sort of different as personalities,
yes.
And because of that, we were able to do incredible things. She was like the leader, and I did whatever I was told, like husbands do, and I know you do as well. But it was things like the school, the stage school that we started. She said, right, let's do it. Let's start off. Well, okay, what do we do? Well, we get a building, and we hire it, rent it, and for me, we didn't have any money then. We were on a mortgage, and I would not have done it. No, I can't take that risk. She did it. No, we get it 100% mortgage, and we do it. And because of that, it was a massive success. I wouldn't have had the guts to do it. But someone like her, yes, she did. And so that's why I've been so lucky to be with someone like her who's so talented and so creative. And then me saying this was because in 2001 she was still being this creative person, and we made a pantomime company, the Cameron Pantomime Company, and we got in contact with a theatre in Southend, a New Empire Theatre, and it was run by more or less a family. So we were able to work with them, and we created a really, really good togetherness, understanding. And for 6 years, we did a panto there, and it's the best panto I've ever been in. Our panto, it was great, really, really good. So that's what happened then. And I was still then doing, pretty much the usual stand-up work in holiday parks, etc.
Yeah, did you have an agent or a manager at the time? Have you ever had a manager or an agent, or have you
Never
always
had-
solely
oh,
represented yourself?
I did have a manager once for a small amount of time, and his name is Ashley Hamp, really nice guy, and his father was very big in the industry. I can't remember his father's name. Somebody Hamp.
It's not. It wasn't Johnny, was it?
Johnny Hamp could be.
No, not the guy from Granada's Comedians. Am I getting that mixed up with someone else?
Not sure. I just know that his dad was very big.
Okay.
Anyway, I was with him for probably only for about a year.
Yeah.
He got me onto some television work, warm-ups and things. And that was the only manager. It's always been agents since then. Not a manager.
Okay, yeah. I've worked better with agents than I have managers, sadly. I've tried it with different managers. It just hasn't worked out, and I think it really is down to where do they place you? You know, where do they put you, and what work can they get you, and do you know yourself better than your manager does? You do need someone that you can completely trust, and someone who knows your goals. They need to know you inside out, I think, as to what work you want to do. And so I think that's why a manager will work or it won't work in that instance. And I think that's why I've gone wrong. I think they've not known what I've wanted. A lot of success in this business is down to good management, I believe.
Yes, and being able to work together, not them telling you what to do all the time.
No, they have to accept that you're not happy to do a job, you know. And one manager I did have made me cancel a job to take another job, which I did not see was going to be a good move for the future, because I always think long run. And I did cancel that job to do the other job in the end, because he was adamant I had to do it. And I said, no, that other job will be there again. They will ask me to do it again. It's just a date clash. I don't want to pull out of a job I'm already in a brochure for. So I pulled out the other job, and the guy I was working for at the time, I never worked for him again because of that reason. And I understand why he didn't want me back, because I had to pull out for this other job. And yeah, so I think you have to be careful with the decisions, and you have to put your foot down, really, if you don't agree with your manager. But I think it does have to be 100% partnership, and you have to, you know, admire each other and respect each other.
Yes, that's right.
Otherwise it won't work.
It's not about just earning money for a manager, is it? It's more than that.
Eyes and teeth. So Drew, this is we're getting closer to me and you meeting, and which I'm very excited about, because I've got loads of gossip to talk about. But what it is, 2008, you went for Britain's Got Talent. Did they contact you, or did you apply? What happened?
I believe that was the second year, and because I'd done Opportunity Knocks, and I sort of know how those type of things work. I even won a talent contest in Eastbourne, which I still got videos of. And I thought, you know what? The first year there was a guy doing impressions, and I believe he won. He may not have won. No, he was in the final, I think, perhaps. Anyway, that wasn't his job. He was, I don't know, a driving instructor or something like that.
Right.
He just did this as a game, and I thought, well, maybe I should do that then. So I applied, and then I was given the audition date, and I got very nervous because no professionals were doing it at that time. They didn't want professionals. They just wanted, as I say, normal people, you know, messing about, doing silly things. And I thought, if people in the profession know I'm doing this, will they look down on me because it's not professional? So I was very nervous, and I did it. And again, you've probably seen the video of it. They said, I think 2 minutes they wanted, and I didn't know what to do. I hadn't got a clue. And so I got together 3.5 minutes, it was about, and I went on stage, and I carried on, and and I did about 2.5 minutes, and then I stopped. And it's got it on the video. I said, I've got to stop here. I haven't got any more. I thought you were going to buzz me off before now. And they all laughed, you know. And you know, everybody thought it was funny, but it was true. And then I've got to tell you this bit. We were backstage, and I was thinking, I signed a contract to say if I get anywhere, I'm in their clause for a whole year. You know, I thought, well, I don't know about that, and I was really nervous. And then they came round with the camera crew, and the director said, "Okay, said Drew, tell us how much this is your dream." Now, I think I've told you this before.
Yeah.
At that time, I was in my 50s. Okay, so I'm not a young child.
Sure.
And this is a profession, and I'm a professional. And then he wanted me to tell him how this is my dream. Well, now I understand. And you know, you play the game because then you get more profile, you get more money. It's just a game. I didn't realise then. And so I answered as I thought, as I felt, which was, excuse me, a dream. I'm not 12 years of age. Not my dream to win a talent contest, is it? My dream is my children to be healthy and happy. And, you know, went to one of those. And they thought, yeah, okay. And now I realise, you know, that I shouldn't have done it then. I should have waited till later, like you. And then I would understand how it was played. So, yeah, so that was... anyway, I did it, and they put me through, and then it was on my birthday, on April the 13th, that on a Sunday morning, went up the local field, park, having a game of football with my friends, and I snapped my leg in half. But really bad, bones were sticking out, and had to go to hospital, and of course I couldn't then go and do any more Britain's Got Talent stuff.
Oh,
that was it.
Wow. So you broke your leg, and you couldn't go on to do the live shows when you did get through, but you couldn't do it. That's such a shame. But Piers Morgan liked you, didn't he? And he doesn't like many people, but he liked you. Yeah,
he said I was the comedian that they were waiting for. Yeah.
They had to wait a long time, didn't they, after that? Because they're still waiting.
They're still waiting, but he's been so upset that, do you know what? He was so upset that I didn't get into the final that he walked off his TV programme the other day.
He did. Yeah. I just don't think he can handle it anymore because of the fact you didn't carry on.
Yeah, that was that's the whole reason. People don't realise that, but it was...
No, I know. Well, you heard it here first. It's an exclusive. Piers Morgan cannot handle the fact that Drew Cameron did not carry on with Britain's Got Talent, and that is the reason why he left GMB. That's a shame.
Oh, confusion.
Yes. And even, as you know, nowadays I'm thinking, I want to be accepted. I want to be on Britain's Got Talent and get fun and be accepted with everybody else. That I'm good enough to, but I actually don't really want to be on it.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's got to be the right time. And just...
Shall I go on to the next bit of the most important part of my life?
I'm really looking forward to hearing about the most important thing in your life.
Right, the most important time of my life, the absolute height that I've got to in my profession is in 2010. I performed at the Hippodrome Eastbourne with the most talented and wonderful performer ever.
Who else was in that show with you then?
Yeah, she was a great singer.
She was great, wasn't she? Georgina, wasn't it? Georgie,
yeah, brilliant, yeah. Oh, and you were there too.
I was in there, mate. Now, you have missed something out though, because can I just go back to the BGT years with Drew, or should I say weeks? It was you had a nice bit of publicity, or was this nothing to do with BGT? Jerry Halliwell was involved. Can you tell me about this story? Because I love the story.
Yeah, it was before BGT, and it was about that time when I was in connection with different agents, and there was this one particular agent, I think you'd call him. He did a lot of work with newspapers and TV companies, things like that.
Okay.
And he would make stories and to give them. And he contacted me, and we had lots of discussions, and I took part in the stories that he sold to TV and newspapers. And there was 2 or 3 of them, but one of them, which was quite amusing, was that I fell in love with a cardboard cutout of Jerry Halliwell. And it was in the newspapers, but ITV came and did a film of me. And so they were in my house. I had Jerry there, and I took her to the pub.
This isn't the real Jerry Halliwell, is it? This is an actual cut, because that could be a description of somebody's personality. You actually do mean a cardboard cutout.
Yes, a cardboard cutout. Yes, that's right. And they filmed in bed with me and my wife, and things like that. And then I went on television. I was on Sacha Baron Cohen before he did his
Ali G. Yes,
he was a person that was on television in a particular one program, and I was on with him. He was the what do you call them? Not narrators.
He was the presenter, wasn't he? And was it in Slough? Because I worked with him on a show called Pump TV, which was a cable TV show that Sasha was hosting. And in like '96, I did it. So is this the same show? No.
No, it was I think an ITV show.
Oh, okay.
In the daytime, and then I went on, and the female presenter interviewed me, and I've got the video of it with me. And telling her how much I'm in love with the cardboard cutout, and then I was on another TV program, and I can't remember the guy's name. Again, there's a video of it. The presenter is well known, and I was the reason and the source of this topic that they had, and there was a lot. It's about 50 different people in there, and most of them had passions for different things, and so I was the reason why they had this, and they started with me and my passion for the cardboard cutout of Jerry Halliwell. And before I went on to we was in the green room, as it were, having the makeup done, talking to the director, and I said, just a minute, I said, you do realise this isn't true? And they went, yeah, no, that's okay. Because it was so obsessive. Everything was out there, and I was thinking, people actually used to believe this, but it was it was. And I tell you what was weird as well on this. That was after it must have been late 90s. It must have been, I think, was it? Yeah, because I went to the school that I used to run as a headmaster, and everyone there in the school had seen me with this cardboard cutout.
Well, I think our headmaster's lost it. He's lost the plot.
That was a big thing about that. As I say, luckily I've got the videos of that.
Yeah, you are lucky you've got them videos. You need to release them into the ether of YouTube. I think that is brilliant.
They are there.
And I think the important thing is to be able to laugh at yourself, isn't it, as a comic? And I mean that's a written rule. Actually, you need to be able to laugh at yourself and carry on, which is great. But we did actually. We worked together 2010. The Royal Hippodrome Theatre, and I'd heard about your name, as I said, on the grapevine, and here we are at rehearsals. So we got 2 weeks rehearsals. I live in Eastbourne, so I'm just down the road, and then we get to know each other, and we hit it off, didn't we? We got on so well in rehearsals. We had a great time.
Yeah, we did, and I look back at that, and it was a great show. It was a show that you should see more of. It was so variety, so funny. It was great.
We got to do our own sets. We got to sing and dance, which we never wanted to do, but we were always dragged into doing that in the summer season variety.
Well, I did.
Spectacular. Yes. Well, of course, you were natural. But then we also had this. We had to come up with these sketches, and so okay, we're going to do Wizard of Oz, and then I was the lion, Cowardly Lion, and then we had Wayne Champagne was Tin Man. Tin Man. But I think he played it as Matt Lucas, didn't he? He was it was almost very Matt Lucas the way he played it.
But, yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right.
And I remember writing the scripts with you, and we were coming out with you were obviously the Scarecrow, and I said, "Oh, Drew, please!" I remember begging you to play the Scarecrow as Wurzel Gummidge, and you did. It was a really good laugh, and we got to do our bits, and then we started hanging out, and then me and you started to do some comedy clubs together, didn't we? Because on weekends, obviously, I think we were doing like Monday to Thursday, Monday or Tuesday to Thursday, and then we had our weekends free. So I would get you a gig, and you would get me a gig. We started to do some. Was it Blue Comedy Cafe with Jim Grant? We started to do a couple of the local gigs.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's because of you I started to do some comedy clubs, because you
Really?
put me up for a few. Yeah.
It was because you're so good, and obviously, how far you've gone now with it just shows you how brilliant it was.
It was brilliant. I do remember going through a heavy phase in my act of self-deprecating and deprecating, not defecating. And my Nina didn't like it, so she asked me to curb it. And when we worked together, me and you, I noticed during your show that you were doing it. And so what I stopped doing, you were doing in that season. So I told you my story, and I said, because I think it takes someone from outside your act to notice these things. Do you agree? And I saw that, and I know that you know what I'm saying. I saw that you would do quite a lot of the self-deprecating, and I think how Nina explained it to me is that it puts the idea in the audience's head. If you say, you start saying how bad you are, or you're not getting laughs, you're self-deprecating, the audience start to believe you, and then in that case you start to lose them, but they might believe what you say. So if you turn it around and make it say, how funny you are, and it's not self-deprecate but self-appreciate. I think we're just trying to. Do you remember when I said that to you at that time?
Oh yeah,
because it's been an ongoing joke, hasn't it?
I know that there's somebody that we both know in the industry hasn't spoken to me since all the years and years ago when I was driving in the car with this person, and I was apparently self-deprecating, but in a funny way, because I did it, and I've told you this. I did it because I'm happy that I've been successful, and so rather than saying, "Oh, how good am I? Oh, look at me! Oh, how fantastic!" I was doing it the reverse way, but it was taken the wrong way, and this person didn't like it and hasn't spoken to me since. But I didn't mean it.
Oh, controversial.
After we'd done a great summer season together, we stayed in touch. Drew Cameron has got some lovely reviews. Drew Cameron is an award-winning stand-up chameleon, and I loved how you called yourself a chameleon, because you merge yourself into different people, and it's exactly what you do. So I love that. First, great tag. And you were voted Best Variety Act of 2013. Now, I go on Britain's Got Talent, and you try and trump me with your status of being the Best Variety Act. Where's Steve Hewlett in this National Entertainment Awards ceremony? And who are the NEA? Can you tell me who they are? Oh, that's who they are. They're the National Entertainment Awards.
That's who they are, yeah.
So what house was that held in? No, mate, this is brilliant.
Have you heard the latest one that I got?
Oh, I did. Tell me more about that.
Yes, I was nominated last year, and for the Global Excellence Awards 2020, the most versatile impressionist entertainment act in the UK.
Wow.
Global Excellence Awards 2020.
Amazing. Well done.
And they told me last year I was nominated for it, and I thought, what? No. And anyway, this year that I actually won the award for it.
That's brilliant.
So I'll put that up. That's.
Oh, well done, mate. It's nice to be acknowledged, isn't it, in this business, because we don't go for the awards. We don't get the big comedy awards like they used to do. Only the TV stars got that. But then you get people like Billy Pearce, who were like the greatest cabaret, the best entertainer of the year award or something, and they were doing pantos and summer seasons, but they never really got the chance to be household names. They done all variety shows, like Billy Pearce and Joe Longthorne. They never got the accolades they deserved, really, which is more TV notoriety. That's the word. And it's such a shame. So to get an award when we're sat at home and not being able to work, to be acknowledged out there is wonderful. And well done, mate. It's well deserved, because you haven't stopped working. You're always out there inventing things. Now, you've got so many things that you're always doing. I'm going to read through a couple of things because you're so versatile. When we were out there working, you were doing corporate promotions, voiceover work, comedy clubs, theme nights, private events. And I saw a video earlier today, you gate crashing a wedding as Del Boy. And that is hilarious. It's such a great thing to do. meet and greet, or you're a vegetarian, so it's just greet. You don't do meet and greet. And then there's, and you perform these really hilarious and accurate lookalike celebrity impressions. You do Mr. Bean, Uncle Albert, Ozzy Osbourne, Michael Caine, Del Boy Manuel, Victor Meldrew, Ali G. And I've worked with you at a couple of corporate gigs, and we've been in dressing rooms, and you've gone out there. There's a Del Boy and Uncle Albert, and you keep changing in between the sets. It's such a great night out. But you now do these things. You do the restaurant, the waiter service thing. Can you tell me more about that? And you now do it in theatres as well, which is a wonderful idea.
Yes, it's taken me a long while. In fact, just to start with, it took the thing that I learned last was it's not about the content, it's about your presentation. And when I was doing those comedy clubs a long time ago, I was thinking about content. And it took me ages to work out, no, it's the presentation is more important than the content. That's what I believe. It's like at least 50%. And I now discovered my niche is actually doing those characters that I spoke about earlier on. That's who I am. And that's the niche that I work in now. So most of the time, yes, I'm a stand-up comedy impressionist, but there's not those gigs that there used to be anyway in these social clubs, etc. But now, even in these last few days, I'm getting in a lot of inquiries from parties and weddings, etc. So weddings, it's very popular now when they know about it, is that I gate crash the end of speeches as Del Boy, and it's so funny because for like 5 or 10 seconds, people are thinking, what the hell's going on? And then they all get it. And because everybody, and I mean this, I've never met anybody that doesn't like Fools and Horses, you immediately, if you do it properly, they like you.
Yes.
And so we all have fun, and that's why I do all these other characters, and I intermingle in restaurants or parties in these characters. But as you were saying, and this is how a lady called Maureen helped me, who started off as being my PR for a little while. She had an idea of, well, I worked for a couple of companies that did these dining experiences as Fools and Horses, and they used the name that I used before, only Fools and Three Courses, and it wasn't a lot of money, but I learned how it worked. I didn't realise you could do it like this, these dining experiences. I learned it, and then Molly said, "Why don't you do it yourself?" I thought, "Oh no, I can't do that." And now it's developed into a show, and it's called Phony Fools and Horses, and we do it as a dining experience.
Right.
But it's also done in any kind of place for corporate and parties. Last January we went to Lanzarote and did it in this big venue with a stage and people eating. We went all around, and we started, we actually stopped for a while, getting into theatres, doing a complete show. And so that is the niche that I'm in, and I've found, and it's really working well. I have to do all the publicity and the promotion, which is hard work, but it's really successful, and it's so much easier than trying to stand up and make people laugh as myself.
Then I went to Edinburgh Festival 2009. I think I last went. It may have been a few years later. But when I did go, one of the shows that I went to see was the 40 Towers dinner experience, and that was just brilliant. So I can imagine how hilarious the chaos between Uncle Albert and Del Boy and Rodney can make, as waiters during a dinner experience. It's such a wonderful thing, and you can bring that to theatre, to the stage as well, which you are doing and going on tour with. And I know we've been trying to collaborate on that, where I don't know, I come on and do a set, or I come on and host or whatever, but I'd love to get involved because I just want to come and see it. It's going to be brilliant. But I mean, there's that idea of hosting dinners in hotels and things, which is a wonderful, great brand new way of having a fun lunch with a cabaret, but tying it in like that. You used to get the singing, you still get the singing waiters, where the waiters are all end up being singers and they just start belting out an opera song, and it's so popular now in corporate gigs. But to do what you guys do, add in the comedy element, I love it. I love the concept.
And what is good is that people pay money to come in and see that, and they go away really happy. It's not like if I was doing, we're going to pay some money, going to come and see some everybody do some comedy. Well, some people like it, some people don't. You know, it's that everybody loves it. And what is fascinating is the other companies, you know, there's about 2 or 3 other companies do these dining experiences. They use actors and sometimes actresses to do the parts.
Oh, right.
They were, as you saw them, they do go down great. They really do go down great. But the funny thing is, for me, when they come out in these characters, particularly like Del Boy, they're actors. So what they're doing is they're just doing it in a East London accent, like, oh, lovely jubbly, all right. Now, everybody, most of the time anyway, they enjoy it. But for me, with us, you know, they actually get Del Boy, you know, talking, you know what I mean, eh? I'm Christy, you know, so...
Yeah, you need to have that comedy timing as well. You can't just go in there and act the part. You know, you have to have that comedy timing. And I know 2 wonderful actors, Ian Aspinall and John T. Stevens, who do the Morecambe and Wise, and they are actors, but they do actually play the parts of those guys. So you have to have the comedy timing as well, you know, and those guys have got a history of doing comedy shows. So I think it's very important that, you know, you can be there is a saying about comedians can be great actors, but not every actor can be a great comedian, you know. It's not something you can just learn overnight, is it? It's got to come down to experience.
And for me, again, I mean, the last time I worked for another company, it was horrible because the actors stuck to the script, word for word, and it was too wordy. When I was in the character, I then started talking to people, and as you said, you know, making things up, you know, all right, darling, you're this, that, and I was the only one getting laughs. Yeah,
well, it's the interaction with the people in the audience, isn't it? If someone's got a funny hat on or wearing a hideous shirt, you need to bring that to attention. You can't stick to the script. You need to go off script. But then, with respect of your other performers, come back to the script so you all know where you are. But there should be that artistic license where you can, you know, improvise.
And on the other companies, they use actors, and whoever's available, they use. But I'm lucky that I've got 2 people, is Ian Blight and Phil Hoyles. You know Phil.
Yeah, he's great.
We are a team. We are all together, and we work together all the time. So we know one another.
Yes.
And how things, and they stick to their characters. Because this other team that I'd worked with before, somebody, and he's an actor, and he's very, very full character, you know, and he played Boise, but he didn't stay in character, because then Boise would start talking and telling jokes to people in the audience, you know. They loved it, you know, the audience did like, but I thought, no, you're out of character now. So I'm very particular about it.
Yeah, it's something that people have to come out and see, though. It's just such a great show, and I wish you all the best. It'd be nice if we get back to that, because I'd love to come and see that this year when we start all over again. You have been one of my dummies on a couple of occasions. Now, 2010, you was Martha.
I'm your dummy now, aren't I?
Yeah, you get off my knee, yeah. And you know where the hand is. We had a routine called Arthur and Martha. I had Arthur Lager on one hand, and you was dressed as his wife, the most hideous of legs. Do you remember that? And I've got a great photograph of you, very unimpressed with the stuffed legs in tights that you had made. But I mean, you as Martha, it was just brilliant. We had such a great laugh, and I don't think the script was the same any night that we did it. It was, I don't know if that was you or me, but we did wander off script, and we had a great, and then we got told off for going over. But it was such a great routine doing Arthur and Martha. And do you remember her voice that you did?
I recently saw a video, and I think I can remember it now, because you said, oh, well, we did this, and so I looked at it, and something like, yeah, don't like that. Was it like that?
It was a very early, way before Alan Carr, but it was an early Alan Carr, I think. Yeah.
Alan Carr, yeah.
Yeah. Another time that you played my dummy, Steve's Dummies. Now, I had to pick a team for Eggheads, and I went up to Glasgow to stay in a hotel, and I picked a few of my handful of mates, Neil Warner, Mickey Zaney, Catherine Sanford, and my brother Dave, and Drew Cameron, and we went up to Glasgow to film Eggheads, and what a great time we had.
Yeah, we did. It was really fun. We all had a great fun time.
Wasn't it brilliant? And I went up against Judith, actually. I was really bad. I come fourth in everything I do on telly. So BGT, fourth, And then Eggheads, I'm sure I was like 4th, but there was only one worse than me on the team. But anyway, I went up against Judith and got knocked out straight away, but then she got knocked out as well. But that was by you, wasn't it?
It was, and do you know what? I'm still talking about it, because at the moment, every 2 weeks, our family have a Zoom quiz.
Oh, nice. You always bring it up.
Well, I always come last on that, but all the time I'm saying, I'm too good for this, because me and Judith went head-to-head in that programme of yours, and I actually beat her. I never let anybody not know about that. I beat Judith, the £1 million winner on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I know it's a great accolade to have, mate. Not everyone can say that. So well done, because you did knock her out in a quiz sense.
Right, Drew, a comedy impressionist. What are your favourite characters to impersonate then?
Things like, Del Boy, we all like him, don't we, you know what I mean? And Pasquale is something that people like, things like that. And you, of course, but I wouldn't have the nerve to do that today.
Yeah, a comedy character. Oh, very, very nicely be thought of. OK, let's play the game. Would you like to go first or second, Drew?
I'd like to go first, please.
OK, Drew, first question for you on science. Here you go. The item of laboratory equipment, the Bunsen burner, is typically powered by what? Methylated spirits, gas, or sunlight?
Well, I don't want to appear as though I don't understand the question, as though I'm Mr. Bean answering. Oh, very nice indeed. Oh. So I'll answer as myself. I don't think methylated spirits, that's so liquid, or sunlight doesn't sound right. I'm going to go from my memory from school and say gas.
Yeah, and a lot of school students watching now going, yeah, of course, it's gas. It is the right answer. Drew, NASA's NEMO project, which provides participants with an experience similar to space exploration, takes place in a research station in what type of environment? Is it underwater, in an igloo, or up a tree?
Okay, well, I think I may have to put on my really egghead. And do you do this as the Homer Simpson? I think Homer would probably go up a tree, but I'm not going to go there. And an igloo, no, not so sure. I'm going with the Nemo as underwater.
Yeah, there's so many clues there, aren't there, with Nemo, obviously, and just damn logic. Up a tree. If it was a very tall tree, I suppose a redwood or something, might be getting a bit closer to a different atmosphere. It is, of course, underwater. Well worked out, Drew. I think even Homer would have got that one. And third question apiece. Drew, the major atmospheric gamma-ray imaging Cherenkov telescopes, commonly known as MAGIC, are located on which island? Sicily, La Palma, or Malta?
Oh, I'm going to have to be a chatty man here and talk my way through this one, yeah. I'm looking at something quite high, maybe where there's more open sky. They're all very similar. My gut feeling is that this is La Palma.
OK, La Palma. It's the right answer, Drew. You've worked it out. We'll get some more on this from the Eggheads. Was Drew going the right way there, looking for a bit of height and some clear skies?
Yeah, there's quite a few major telescopes based in the Canaries.
So, Drew, congratulations, Drew, and your many personalities. You're through to the final round. Would you both please come back and join your teams? Well, that round's levelled it up. As it stands, both teams have lost one brain from the final round.
Oh, yeah, the other thing, did you tell me this? Because someone told me that, you did it getting your comedy people together, and it was supposed to be quite light-hearted. And when I was asked questions, I made it a bit funny, because you had Arthur with you, I think. And I did, so when I was head-to-head with Judith, and they would ask a question, Judith would answer it properly, and they'd ask me, and they'd say, well, what is, and one of the questions was where this telescope for the planets was on what mountain, something like that. And I would answer saying, I'm not quite sure. I think Mr. Bean might know. Oh, yes, I think I know what it is. And I'd do that, and and then I'd finish it, and then I'd answer the question. And apparently, somebody complained. There's quite a few complaints made that we couldn't take it seriously.
Do you know what? I think they hated the fact that there were entertainers on the show because it's such a highbrow. Well, firstly, it's BBC. Secondly, it's highbrow. It's a game show. Don't make fun of our. It's like me and you going on Countdown. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think they'd want that. That's why they've got a naughty countdown for later that night with Jimmy Carr. So I think us coming on Eggheads, the team's called Steve's Dummies, and I'm sat there with half a lager on my knee. Firstly, one of the Eggheads complained that there was two of me answering one question, and even then I couldn't get the answers. But that's irrelevant. The funny thing was, we were just there for a tongue-in-cheek appearance, and we had a little bit of fun. We had the night before, they paid for our dinner. We had such a good 24 hours together, and it was fun. But yeah, I think the fact that you were doing impressions, I think it's just the highbrow people talking, and the fans of Eggheads. Yeah, I think they were thinking, oh, we haven't turned on BGT, we've turned on BBC, you know, and like what the hell is this? So it was this guy with the old man on his knee, and this guy doing funny voices. But I think for us, I don't care really. We were on Eggheads, and you did beat Judith. So
I did, and I'm rubbish at those kind of quizzes. It was so funny that I actually managed to do it.
I know. I'd rather do something like Tipping Point. I love Tipping Point, or
I like that.
Linger. Me and you should go on Lingo. Me and my 9-year-old daughter.
Love it.
Me and Nina and Lola were doing that yesterday, and she's 9, and our 4-year-old got one of them yesterday. So it's like, we love Lingo.
I love watching that with somebody else, with me.
Well, come round, watch it with us when we're allowed.
Yeah, that'd be great. I love it. It's a big favourite of mine.
Ice and Teeth. Did you mention Phil Collins earlier?
Yeah.
Tell me more about Phil Collins. Was it you stayed with him, did you?
Yeah, his mum was one of the owners of the stage school in London, Barb Street Stage School. So that's why he was there. And I was staying in someone's house who went to the school, and Phil used to come and stay for a bit as well. And I remember we used to go in the field opposite and have a game of football most nights together, and then he would come in, and that's when he started to try and learn how to play the piano. And I remember sitting next to him, telling him off, saying, "That's rubbish, don't do that."
No, you're joking. That's a bit like me sitting in your shed learning the guitar and you telling me not to bother, which has happened.
That's right, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Phil Collins has gone on to actually play the piano. So, wow.
And let me just say, it was because of me that he learned how to play it so well.
Brilliant. Another day in paradise at Drew Cameron's. This is amazing. You're playing football because I think he wanted to be a football player, didn't he?
Not sure about that.
Or piano player. Or drummer. Didn't he once play a gorilla in an advert? That is amazing, though. But you have hung out with quite a lot of rock stars. So you got Phil Collins, tick. Steve Hewlett, tick. And then let's talk about you and Brian May hanging out. Now, before we get onto that little story that I don't know too much detail about, but I'll let you tell that in your own entirety. But another reason why I admire you, mate, is because you love wildlife. And I'm looking outside a window while I'm talking to you now, and I'm seeing squirrels walking up and down the branches, and I can see pigeons and seagulls and stuff. And I love looking at wildlife, and it's something me and my daughters and my wife love to watch. So you, though, you rescue and you look after and you nurture and you love the wildlife, don't you? And you've saved hedgehogs. And tell me more about that side of Drew Cameron that people might not know about.
Well, at this stage of life, I look back and you see people on the television and they're famous and they've got money and all that. But I know that I am one of the luckiest persons alive, of the people that have been part of my life and what I've done. I am so lucky, and that is one of the other things, as you mentioned, because as a child there were two things that I was passionate about. There was performing and it was looking after animals. And I'm doing that now. And that is so lucky of me to be able to do that. So I've called it, I don't do it so much now because of health and because of, work. But I started it up called Beaks and Squeaks. And it was for small mammals and birds. It's turned out mostly for birds now. Because I'm passionate into it, and I think it's Annabelle, I think her name is.
Right.
PR for Brian May, who has a wildlife trust, Save Me, it's called, and they asked if I would compare his rock concert, I think it was in Guildford area, to raise money for that. And so I did. I compared his concert. There were other rock stars on there. I remember who they were, but they were rock stars, and that was amazing doing that for him.
That's brilliant. I mean, he's an advocado, is that the word? For badgers and things. It's advocate, isn't it? For
right, yeah.
saving badgers and fox hunting, dead against fox hunting and all this sort of thing. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, he's very passionate about that. But I mean, he admired you because you've got that same mindset with saving animals. I mean, Ricky Gervais is like that. He hates any sort of animal cruelty, but I mean, you actually go out your way actually to save animals in the wild as well, which is it's so nice, to give your time to that. It's a lovely thing to do with humanity.
Yeah, you mentioned, just take one example, the squirrels that you like seeing in your garden. I like seeing squirrels in my garden. If you don't like seeing them, well, they're part of nature. It doesn't matter. But the thing with that is the government have decided they are an invasive species and they should be culled. Even though humans brought them over here, they want to kill them. And also because apparently they I wouldn't say destroy, but more or less destroy woodland because they're biting bark. Well, that's because we haven't got a lot of woodland. And why? Because humans cut them down. But they still blame the animal. It hasn't done anything. And so I've got a big passion about the fact that the government not murder, it's cull, isn't it? Cull these poor innocent animals. And if they got what they wanted, you wouldn't be able to see them. And you're not allowed to rescue them and look after them and release them. You're not allowed to do that. Well, as I'm not an organised charity, people have brought them to me, and you know what? They've escaped. When they've got better or grown up, they've managed to escape from where I hold them.
Oh,
Isn't
bless
that
you.
amazing?
It is, right.
I haven't released them. They've just escaped.
Yes. So, are you unbearable to live with? Is that why they've gone, or?
Actually, that's another thing. Because about 5 years ago, and I had about 5 of them, little babies, and they grew up. They're the most cuddly little things you can imagine. There was one when I'd released them. Then there was one at the end of the garden. He came running up to me, up my leg, up to my shoulder, and started licking my neck.
Oh, that's nice. Did you have peanut butter on your neck?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's because I'm such a lovely, cuddly person. You know that.
No, I know. Yeah, you're a lovely cuddler. Apparently, I was speaking to a Jerry Halliwell cardboard cutout, and she told me.
Did Judge Rinder tell you how lovely I am as well?
Yes, he did. Yes, and I'm not judging you for that. But what I am judging you for, I don't know if it's murder or manslaughter, but somebody, you have killed somebody in your time, and it was unintentionally and indirectly, but somebody died during one of your shows. Can you tell us about the moment when someone died laughing at you?
Yes, and I wondered where you were going with that.
Yes.
I've forgotten.
So was this a blind date or no? Carry on. Sorry.
I'm so beautiful that women get heart flutters when they see me.
Fall at your feet.
No, this is serious, and it was down in Eastbourne several years ago. I'm not quite sure. Is it 2014? I don't know. It was down in Eastbourne doing the show down there, and the next day I got a phone call. This man said hello. I said, I was at your show last night. And he said, my wife died laughing. And I thought, what? And he said, she passed away. And he said, I want you to appear at her wake and entertain the guests. And I was really confused, obviously. And so I was saying, yeah, okay. So it then came to pass that I did it. And I was very nervous that I shouldn't say anything that had a joke connected with someone's ill health or dying. Unfortunately, I did say something, but I can't remember. And everyone was celebrating her life, and so they're all dressed up in colourful material, and it went down really well. I think probably she had something wrong with her, and that because of laughing so much, that's why she passed away. But the follow-on from that, a year later, I was back down in Eastbourne, and I was in another part of a bar, and this man said hello. He said, I saw you last year. It was my wife that died laughing at your show. I thought, blimey. And from that conversation, I learned that he was an ex-SAS and Royal Protection officer. And I thought, oh my God, if he actually blamed me for that, I wouldn't be here now, would I? I would have disappeared some strange way. I thought, blimey, that's scary. And then about 2 years ago, I met him again down in Eastbourne. Funnily enough.
Wow, you keep bumping into
and
him.
I said to him, it's important because I'm telling you about this now, and I've always thought, is that something to promote? I'm so funny that someone died laughing, or is that really disrespectful? And I've never been sure. I've never really promoted it that much. And when I asked the man, he said, yeah, that's fine. Yes, fine. You tell whoever you want. But it's still a odd thing to say.
It is a strange thing, but no one wants people to die in their audience.
No.
I think it's happened during shows I've been part of, but not during my act. But you know, I mean, to someone to die laughing is just an expression, really, at the end of the day. But when you actually experience that, but it's so nice that she was watching you when she passed away. The family, they cottoned onto that, and they attached themselves to you because they have that connection with you, which is actually a wonderful, bittersweet but wonderful memory. So I bless you, mate, for actually going ahead and doing that. So do you know when the comedians, they say I'm going to go out and kill him tonight, but when Drew Cameron goes out, he actually does. Watch it.
I go out as Del Boy and say I'm not the girl's bandy. That's how I say it now.
But you've always kept yourself busy, and when we do work together, and we've done a lot of shows, we've done theatre shows together, comedy clubs, charity shows, so many things. But we've got this running gag about who's supporting who. I said, I'm not following you, you're not following me, and it's it's just a very funny gag that we keep going. But just any gig will do. I don't care where I come or go on, but I just any gig will be nice.
No, but I'd love putting that on my CV, that you're my support act. Oh, that's brilliant.
That's probably why you've not got any work, though. that's insane. But you're doing so much. You've done a lot of online shows in the last year. You've done a few corporates, and you've got some things that have gone on. But you do personalised cars, so people can get things from you now through your website. Can you tell us about your website, Drew? And you can get these personalised cars, which I've actually bought a few in the past.
Slightly now. It's particularly, I think again, it was about 2015. I started doing celebrity messages, and it was through emails and on the phone. But now it's become a lot easier for people to do, and companies have started off. So I've stopped doing celebrity messages as such. I now do it more personalised because you can use an app and it's a lot easier. And there isn't, it's on Facebook now. There's a celebrity messages Facebook. You go on there. I think it's £1.99. It's already got to pay for me to do it's an animated picture. So
yeah, these are very good. These are like 3D pictures that move, and you do the Queen. You can do anyone, Ali G, Alan Carr. There's so many celebrities that you can choose, and you're very versatile and very accommodating as well. I mean, you do personalised messages, and it could be for anything, couldn't it? So And that price, you can't complain at that price. That's very generous of you to give them away like that.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do now with these apps. It's not about money. There was end of last year, somebody, he booked me, he got me to do, it was something like about 35 different ones to send out to his friends to say, I think it was Happy Christmas, and then come to his party and things like that. And they're very good for things like that. Very good.
Yeah, it's pretty, well, you are very good with things like that. Drew Cameron, thank you so much for being on Eyes and Teeth.
I'm hoping now with my show, we're going to Malaga again soon, and I'm hoping to go onto cruises like you've been. That's really my passion, to get onto cruise work.
Brilliant.
To go overseas.
You did do one, didn't you? You done a cruise a couple of years ago, which was like a TV sitcom cruise.
It was TV Comedy Legends.
That's it. With Jeffrey Holland.
Yes.
Was it Sue Hodge?
Yes, and Roy Hudd.
Roy Hudd, bless him. Yes. Ah, that must have been amazing.
Yeah.
Spending a couple of days with them legends.
Apart from you, don't mind. I don't like going on my own. I prefer to go and share it with people. That's what I love.
Yeah. I'd love to do a cruise with you. It'd be such a great laugh for starters, wouldn't it? We'll have to try and do that. If they do one of those celebrity cruises, the TV Legends cruises, see if they need two supports. I'd love to come up and join in. Just for the social banter. Just to get out of the house, mate.
Yes, I know.
Drew, it's been an honour. Thank you so much for being on here. I'll put all your website and stuff on so people can go and have a look at that, buy any of your merchandise. And you have got something you're eBaying off, a Jerry Halliwell cardboard cutout. What's it up to now?
Do you know what? She disintegrated in my garage, and I don't have her anymore.
He's killed another woman. We're going to have to send the police around soon. Thank you, Drew. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, matey. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Eyes and Teeth. Thanks to Drew for a funny and interesting insight to the world of voices. And to find out more, please go to www.drewcameron.co.uk. On Twitter, he's at Mr. Drew Cameron, and Drew Cameron on Facebook. It's all about Drew Cameron. Today's quote is from Del Boy, aka David Jason. I'm getting fed up of living away from home so much. They look after you very well, but it doesn't matter how well you're looked after, how nice the hotel is. If you're away from home constantly, the bloody dog savages you, thinks you're a stranger. The kid cries and the wife's stuck to your face. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Larissa, Lola and Nina Hewlett, and additional vocals by Rich T. The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced and performed by Kevin Dean. Join me for another edition of Eyes and Teeth Voices of Variety, when I enjoy a conversation with sitcom and pantomime royalty and Stan Laurel historian Jeffrey Holland.